My name is Pastor Lisa, and today I'm doing a video that's a little bit different from what I've been doing on my channel, but it is something that I definitely wanted to share with you. This is my first author vlog on this channel, A Passion for God. As some of you may know, and you may not be aware, that I am a published author of 8 anthology books. Yes, and today's vlog, I'm sharing my anniversary celebration with you all because for the month of January, I had two books that were released, and it is their book anniversary. They were released in 2 different years. The first one was released in January of 2022, which made me a first time published author. Yes, and that book is none other than Destined to Win, Volume 4, Pierced for a Purpose. Yes. And this is the front cover of the book. I hope that you can see. I tried to adjust my lighting the best as I could with what I have. And this is the back of the book. This is the visionary of this book compilation project, Pastor Tammy Vaughan. And this is a list of all of the co authors, which are contributing authors of this book. And yours truly is one of the 16 co authors that contributed a chapter to make up this book. And I wanted to just share with you a little bit about the book and about my chapter as well. So, once again, the book is called Destined to Win. It's volume 4. This book series, from the time of this video, it actually has 6 books in this book series. Yes. I am in volume 4, and I'm also in volume 5. I'll share that with you on a separate video. But today I wanted to just share with you a little bit about this book. Once again, it was released in January. I believe it was the 16th in 2022. Yes. And it was an amazing and awesome experience. Thank you for tuning in. I see I have a viewer here, a couple of viewers. I can't see everything, but thank you so much for tuning in. Please let me know where you are viewing this video from. So, Destined to Win, Volume 4, and yours truly is one of the 16 co authors. And this book is still currently available. I have some copies left as well, and I'll give you some more information as to how you can order if you would like a um, autograph copy. You can reach out to me. I do have a few left. And you can always, of course, find this book on Amazon, right? But you can get an autograph copy from yours truly. Just reach out to me. So, this book is called Peers for a Purpose. And this book is faith based, as I am a believer, a woman of God. And it's not preachy. None of our books that I'm in were not preachy, but we do share our faith as believers, right? I want to just share with you the chapter titles of the titles that are in the chapter here. Chapter 1 is called Forgiveness to Freedom. Chapter 2 is From the Trap House to God's House. Chapter 3 is Enough, I'm Done. Chapter 4, Mental Health in the Church. Chapter 5, Hidden in Plain Sight. Chapter 6, Almost Went to Prison, but was called to the pulpit. My God. Next chapter, Lost in the Sunshine. And the next chapter, What You Become in Spite of What You Hear. Next chapter, I See You. The following chapter, which is mine, is Paralyzed by Grief, and I'll share more with you. The next chapter is My Faith is All I Need. The following chapter is Double for My Double Trouble. The next one is A 5-Year Bid. Next one is I Just Wanted a Father. And the next one, which is also a chapter that was from our visionary, Pressed but Not Crushed. And the last chapter is Reclaiming My Voice. So each one of us ladies contributed a chapter. I just read for you the titles of the chapters that are in this book. And I'm just going to share a little bit from my book, my chapter. So this is the first page where you can see my picture and my name here. And then this begins my bio. Hope you can, I'm not sure how well you're seeing this. And so it has your bio, my picture, and then um, I'm just going to share just a little bit of about my chapter. So once again, it's entitled "Paralyzed by Grief," and I begin with the scripture, Matthew 5:4, and it says, "They are blessed who grieve, for God will comfort them." That's from the New Century Version. Yes, and so in my chapter, I shared about my journey of experiencing severe grief with the loss of my beloved mother. My mother and I were very close. I was the baby, always her baby, and I took care of her the last 13 months of her life as her full time caregiver. But in after her passing, I had experienced severe, very severe grief. Although, we know that our parents are not going to be with us always, and even when someone is sick, it's still not, it doesn't make it easy to process that they have passed away and that you lost them, especially when it's someone that's so dear to you, that you have a great relationship with, that you love and they love you. And I just wanted to share that experience. It was one of the most difficult and most challenging seasons of my life. And in actuality, it was for 5 years that I experienced this severe grief. I lost my mother on January 1st, yes, of all days of the year, the first day of the year, January 1st, 2016. And I shared my experience of losing her. I was there when she took her last breath. All of that is within the chapter. So I know that everyone experiences and processes grief differently. You may process it one way, and I may process it another way. But we all will feel the grief, but it's how we process it and how we um, experience it. And everyone's experience is different, right? So I share about that in my chapter because grief paralyzed me, and we understand that when one is paralyzed, it's in a sense you're stuck, you're incapacitated, you're immobile, you can't move, and that is the issue. The problem that I had is that I had difficulty moving forward in life once I lost my beloved mother. I didn't have any issues with denial because I knew she was no longer with us in the earth, but what the difficulty was is just navigating through life without her. I never imagined that I would be living life without my mother. For the simple fact that longevity runs in my family. We've had several family members that lived to be centenarians well into their 100s. And the one that lived the longest was my great aunt, um, great grand aunt, I believe that's what it's called. She lived to be 108 years old, and my mom passed at 84 years old. So here again, I share about that journey. And anyone that has experienced severe grief, you understand if you lost a parent, it's a very heartbreaking thing, right? Um, so I just wanted to share that. And I experienced one of the greatest forms of healing by releasing it, by writing it, by getting it out, how I felt, how I processed it. So now I am 9 years post op her passing. So this year, 2025, makes 9 years that I've been navigating in life, living life without her. And from the time that I wrote this, which was in 2001, the book was released in 2022. Life has, of course, moved on, and I have been able to move forward. I don't like to use the word move on because it's like you're trying to forget something, and I'll never forget my mom. But it's a sense of moving forward with life. And it's something that I had to learn how to navigate through, and I'm still learning how to navigate through that, right? But I wanted to just share because it is my third year book anniversary with this book, Destined to Win, Volume 4, Peers for a Purpose. And yes, so that is my first book, which is book number one. It is 3 year anniversary. So happy third year anniversary to me and all of the co-authors that are in this amazing and awesome book. So the next book that I'm sharing with you on today, this book anniversary is book number 6. Book number 6. This one was released January 27th, 2024. And I have it in paperback and also in hardback. So this book is called Anthology, Beloved Caregiver Anthology. And this was also a bestseller. And I was the one that actually published this book along with my co authors. So I'm going to share with you more about this book. It's called Beloved Caregiver Anthology, Caregiving, a Labor of Love, and that's what it is. And it's compiled by visionary author myself, Lisa Audrey. So, this book, I share about my experience in being a caregiver full time for my beloved mother. And once again, I stated a little bit earlier that I cared for her as full time for the last 13 months of her life. We're now 9 years post her passing. But I shared this in great detail about my journey as a caregiver. Um, and about that experience. And once again, it was difficult caring for someone that you love very much, watching their health decline, and also not being able to do anything about it except for to love on them. And to make them be and feel as much as comfortable as they possibly can because it's completely out of your hands. So, beloved caregiver, that's what the Lord had given me, beloved, because a person that is beloved, they are dearly loved. You love someone very much. That's where the word beloved come from. We use it as believers. The word beloved, caregiver, is caring for someone that is unable to care for themselves or needs assistance in caring for themselves. So once again, this was a best-selling book. It's a best-selling book on Amazon. We made bestseller in two categories, medical assistant, and I can't remember the other category. And it was released January 27th, 2024. So this book is just a year old. So it's my first year book anniversary in January of 2024, making it 2025, just a year old. And I am so proud of this book being my first book that I published. Um, as a best-selling author. This book made me a four-time best-selling author, and I'm actually now a six-time best-selling author. Yes. So I want to share with you the chapter titles from this book. So once again, Beloved Caregiver. The first chapter is The Heart of the Caregiver. Second chapter is entitled Beloved Goddaughter, I Loved You While in My Care. Chapter 3, Caring from a Distance. Chapter 4 was my chapter, My Beloved Mother. Chapter 6 is Gifted. So, once again, as I stated, I shared about my journey as being a full time caregiver to my beloved mother. And I'll show you the book here. So, this is my bio page where you see my picture here, and this begins my bio. And my chapter begins here. So I'm just going to share with you a little bit about my chapter. So I have subsections. So first, I give an introduction about my mother, who she is, the woman that raised me. I shared in how my upbringing was a beautiful, loving home, a divorced mother of two, a hardworking, very independent woman that loved God, raised us in the fear and admonition of the Lord in the church, and had a very loving, providing home for us. I shared about her being once again independent, um, and being one that you can confide in. I was able to confide in her. She was my bestie. Yes, my mom was my bestie, and I was her baby. And so the first introduction is entitled "My Beloved Mother." The next section is what is happening to my beloved mother. So, in this section, I shared about how sickness began to come up on her to the extent where she was unable to care for herself and to live independently. And I shared about how I moved back with her. And we lived in the same house. It was a three-family house. I lived on one floor. And when she needed full time care, 24/7 care, I moved back upstairs to care for her. The next section I have is entitled My Life as a Full Time Caregiver. So I shared about what it is to be a full time caregiver. Now, mind you, I was one that was not fortunate to have children. So I don't know and did not have the experience of taking care of someone that can't take care of themselves, right? I have nieces and nephews, of course. But it's a little bit different when you spend time with them and you can send them right back home to their mommies, right? So it's totally different experience. So I shared about what it is to be a full-time caregiver. So I had to learn how to care for someone 24/7, just as a mother and a father cares for an infant 24/7, right? An infant is defenseless, they're innocent, they can't take care of themselves. So I shared about that, what it is to be a full-time caregiver, right? It's a very demanding um, thing to care for someone, as you know, being a parent. And those of you that are parents or are guardians, it's a major responsibility. Being a caregiver to a loved one and a family member is also a huge undertaking. Um, but I would, if I had to do it over, I would do it again because I love my mother, and I appreciate the care that she gave to me, the loving care that she gave to me, and it was a way of me to care and to give back to her. So I'm grateful that had the ability to be able to do that. And then the next section is entitled Caregiver Support and Relief. So I share about my experience in looking for a support group, which I did find an amazing support group. It was online. This was pre pandemic, but there are so many really good support groups, whether they're local, and I did also connect with a local caregiving group as well, which met once a month, and I was able to connect with them, and that was extremely helpful. So I shared about that caregiver support and also caregiver relief. Oftentimes, for those people that have large families, and if they're close knit, you can, create a schedule so that people take turns in caring for the loved one, so that people don't have the ability to burn out. And that's a blessing in itself, but not everybody has that, right? Not everybody has that. Some people, they have loved ones and family members that live in other states so far that they can't travel. So it's a different experience for everyone. But here again, I share about my experience. The next section is entitled Spiritual Support. As a woman of faith and as a believer, of course, it's also imperative in every situation in life that you have in a support system. So I did have a spiritual support system as well, which was a blessing. And then the next section, which is near the end, but I have a few more sections. The next section of my chapter is hospice care. I share about what it is, what is hospice, and that my mother was able to have hospice at home. So I shared about that experience, having a nurse that is assigned to her in an amazing team of hospice care team that helped myself and my sister and my family to be able to care for our beloved mother. So I share about that. We had an amazing social worker. The nurse was awesome. We had home health aides. We went through a few home health aides, and I share about that. Um, and then another section here in my chapter is hiring private care. Sometimes that's needed. And hospice, they sent for a home health aide 3 days a week, but we have 7 days in a week, right? So the weekends, I had help with family because family members worked. Um, but the weekdays, I needed assistance in being able to bathe her, feed her, and so forth, mainly bathing, because it came to a point afterwards where she was homebound for quite a number of years. But of course, as her illness began to progress more, she was homebound and was not mobile anymore. So we had a wheelchair for her afterwards. She was able to get ambulatory to get from the bed to the chair, and we had a wonderful recliner that my sister bought for her as well. And then she was able to get from the chair, from the bed to the chair to the wheelchair. But ultimately, she did became bedridden, and then in hospice, they provided us a hospital bed, which was a great assistance because with the hospital bed, you can, of course, move the person that's in the bed up and down. So it's really helpful to have a hospital bed when you're caring for someone, of course, that is bedridden. Yeah. Um, and that's the point where I needed the most help, and we had to hire private care. So we hired a home health aide, just so happened to be a person that we knew personally, thank goodness, who had over 30 years of home health aide experience. And I shared about this. It was a beautiful experience in having her lovingly care for my mom and help me to bathe her as she was bedridden. We were able to turn her, all those things that you do when you're caring for a person. Um, the next section I have here is I share about my last holiday with my mom, which was Christmas. And that was our favorite holiday, her favorite holiday, and my favorite holiday. We love the holidays. So I shared about my last holiday with my mom. And then the last section of my chapter is entitled Help Me, Lord, I Am Losing My Beloved Mother. So, in the course of this chapter, I share about how the illness, oftentimes, illnesses will take turns, turn for the worse and turn for the better. Sometimes it go back and forth, back and forth. We experience that. So, I share it about that in my chapter as well. And that's really challenging, very difficult. We thought we were going to lose her several times before the point where she did pass within those last 13 months of her life. But Christmas, which was the last holiday that we spent with her, was a beautiful experience. And you'll read about that if you get the book, when you get the book. And then I concluded the chapter by writing a love note to my mom. Yes, so it was an amazing experience, and I know caregiving is not easy. I don't know who's tuning into this. If you're a caregiver, you know someone that is a caregiver. It is a challenge. It is a very challenging thing to care for someone. And if you work and you're caring for someone, that's challenging. Or if you are the relief to the one that is caregiving full time, my sister and I, my mother had two children with my father. But my on my father's side, we had other siblings, and they live in different states. So it was just me and me and my sister taking care of our mother. So my sister was my relief. She relieved me every other weekend. I was able to get out the house and so forth. So I share about that. So yes, it was an amazing experience. I would do it all over again because I love my mom. So this book, Beloved Caregiver, once again, is a bestseller. It comes in hardcover. Hardcover is $25 plus shipping. If you want to get them um, an autograph copy from myself, it would be $5 shipping. So it's $25 on Amazon if you just want to get it directly from Amazon. You can look up Beloved Caregiver, A Labor of Love and Sacrifice, or the paperback is 20. I also have it in an ebook. The ebook is $10. So I just wanted to share because it is truly a celebration of reaching the milestone of being a best-selling author of and being an author of 8 books. And having a anniversary for the month of January for 2 books. Book number 1, which made me a first time published author. And then book number 6, book number 1, for those of you that have just chimed in, was released January 2022. This is the back. And then book number 6, just released last year. And my first time publishing a book, I had 5 other co-authors, well, 5 including myself, I believe, and a forward author. And it was an amazing experience. I love writing, and I'm actually working on volume 2. It's going to be released in a few months for Beloved Caregiver, volume 2. Yes. So I want to thank each and every one of you for tuning in. I'm going to see who's on here. Yes, I did release this book. Yes, I'm an author. I am the author of 8 books. So thank you so much. Excuse me. I see I'm at 27 minutes. And I want to thank each and every one of you for tuning in to my author vlog video on today. On my channel, A Passion for God. And yes, thank you so much. And I hope you have an amazing evening and for the rest of the day, as well as the rest of the week. And thank you so much. And I will be sharing some more um, videos about my other books as well. But I just wanted to share these 2 specifically because it is the author anniversary, as both of these books were released in January 1 in 2022, the other one in 2024. So happy book anniversary to me. Thank you and God bless. Thank you, Ellie, I believe that says. Yes, thank you so much. God bless. Let's see how I can turn this off now. And you can reach out to me if you would like a autographed copy of these books, or you can also get them on Amazon. Of course, it's not going to be autographed, but if you want an autographed copy, just reach out and I can get that to you. God bless and take care. Thank you so much and have an awesome day. Bye bye.